What's going on, my Walking Manifestators? I hope you're having a fantastic day. And in this episode, I really want to cover the importance of clarity. This is something so important in what I've been able to learn in my life. And I wanted to share it because, as Jim Quick says, if you don't know who he is an amazing brain coach. But he says that the only way to really embody something is to teach it. So not only you learn it, but you go and pay it forward by teaching it. So getting clarity, what does that mean for me? It comes down to singularity of focus. And this is super important because when you are extremely clear, you're extremely clear on what it is that you are looking to achieve in life, everything is going to work in a completely different frequency. This is a reason why so many people, most of the time, are afraid to change. A lot of the times they're afraid of who they're going to lose in their life. They're afraid of how they're going to come across to others. They're afraid of overall losing what they have. But here's an interesting theory. How can you lose something that was never yours to begin with? You see, I've really discovered that when you're in a situation where you are losing something and it's crumbling, it's really making waves and space for other things to be built. It's removing people at the table that you no longer need in order for new people to come that actually deserve to be in your energy. And this for me has been so important because by being intentional in anything you do in life, you're going to get the best results. They often say that successful people are the most intentional. You see, before you go into a conference, you need to have an intention of what it is that you expect to get out of that conference. Before you ask that person to marry you, you need to have a clear intention with what it is that you are hoping to achieve out of that marriage. Before you start a new business, you need to have a clear intention on what it is that you're hoping to obtain at the end of this business that you are launching. There's so much information on that single word of being very intentional that I feel like most of us sometimes we underestimate the importance of being intentional with the rest of the things in our life. And having clarity is going to truly allow you to embody that highest and best version of you. You see, for most people, they listen to a podcast, and I'm not pointing the finger because I know I've done that for the longest time. I would listen to a podcast that was like motivational and inspiring, and then I would go out and act a completely different way. So I'll give you an example. If I read something about being compassionate to people and being, kind, and then all of a sudden somebody would cut me off, well, that all went out the window because I was already upset at the fact that they cut me off and they almost hit me, right? That's what you say. They almost hit me. But the reality is two things. Number one, they almost hit your car. They didn't almost hit you. But as humans, we're so set on wanting to make external things part of who we are as our identity that are not really us. You see, that's a super important realization. And number two, when it comes down to our mindset, we can dramatically shift from that they did this to me to I hope they get to wherever they're going safe and one piece. Thank God I'm okay. This is something that has a huge impact, not only on how you're carrying yourself, but the energy that you are radiating. Have you ever been around somebody that just drags your energy out? Like literally you feel drained at the end and you're like, why was I near this person? They just make me feel completely bad about everything I shared with them because they're like a Debbie Downer, right? And I've learned to show compassion because I used to not feel that way. Now I will separate myself because I've learned to also have boundaries and take care of my energy. However, a lot of the times we judge and we get into this perspective of like, why are they like that? But the reality is we don't know what they've been through. And until they don't take accountability for changing their thoughts, their perspective of themselves, they're always going to be like that. And if you're watching this video, chances are that you're looking to grow, because I know that I spend countless hours every day, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's reading a book, whether it is overall learning from one of my mentors. I take time out of my day to really ensure that I am growing every single day. You see, one of the best compliments somebody has told me has been, "You're nothing like the person I used to know." And that is such a profound feeling, because I know I'm not like the person I used to know. Sometimes I don't even recognize myself. I'm like, "You're very positive. You were not this type of person before." And when that happens to you in your life, I'm telling you, you're doing something right. Now, it can be for one or two things, right? Which hopefully it's for the positive, and it's not you being a negative person and now they're like, "You used to be very positive and now you're not positive." But for the most part, maybe you've changed in a positive way where you've outgrown people. And I'm telling you, the road to spiritual growth can be lonely at the beginning. Doesn't mean that's how it's always going to stay. But I'm telling you, for a whole year, I was isolated from everybody, excluding my family, excluding, if you followed any of my podcast episodes, or if you followed any of my last videos, I've shared with you guys that I take care of my grandparents. And of course, I have my 2 boys. So obviously excluding them, but for the rest of the world, I was very just geared around wanting to grow, just going, taking care of my clients, and then being with my family and not really involving myself in anything else. That really allowed me time for reflection. Who am I? Who are you? And I feel like for the longest time, and don't get me wrong, this is a question that is always going to pose a different answer, but for most of us, we don't ask ourselves that. For most of us, we identify with things that are happening in our external reality. We identify with things that are making us feel in that moment a certain vibration. So if somebody looked at me ugly, I'm already assuming that this person doesn't like me. I'm already assuming maybe I feel insecure now about myself, and I'm now looking at my outfit to see maybe I have something that I'm wearing, maybe I have something in my tooth, and you assume. Your story, your thoughts are so quick to generate this story that if you don't catch it, if you don't become aware of it, it will completely run your life. And this is where getting clarity on what it is that you want is going to have such an important impact in your life. I'm going to share with you some questions that one of my mentors shared with us that I think is extremely important when it comes to every morning when you wake up, ensuring that you can start in the best foot possible. And maybe, just maybe, you don't have the answers to these questions just yet, but it is okay, because I promise you that as you continue to do the work, as you continue to grow with yourself, as you continue to become the consciousness above your thoughts, these questions will pose an answer and it will evolve. But number one, before you go to bed, or maybe when you just woke up, so that you can be very intentional with the rest of your day, ask yourself, who am I? Another key important is, who wants to know that answer? Number 3 is, what is my purpose? Number 4, what do I expect from the world? And the last one, and it's my favorite, is, what am I grateful for? When you change the questions you're asking yourself, your brain is going to start automatically creating new pathways that are going to automatically allow you to start seeing things differently. It's kind of like when you want a new car and then all of a sudden every single place that you go to, you see that car. You know what I'm talking about? I know I'm not the only one. And there's science behind that. It says that your mind is now so focused on wanting to find whatever it is that you have posed a question of, that it is searching for it. So instead of you telling yourself, I don't have enough money, why don't you ask yourself, how can I make more money? Your brain is this supercomputer, and it is meant to help you evolve. But you need to ask the right questions. And who you surround yourself with, I am telling you, plays such an important impact. Such an important impact. Because a lot of the times, as I said earlier, we're afraid of growing because we're afraid of losing people in our life. that in reality, you're not going to lose them because you can't lose something that wasn't yours. But number two, a lot of the people that you have in your life, I always say they're either a lesson or a blessing. And a lesson is always going to help you grow. And a blessing, maybe they were there for the long run. But if they're not, what did you learn from that? For the longest time, I would find that people that I had lost in my life, I constantly, either one of two things, I completely threw it under like my subconscious and I wouldn't even think about it, but I felt as if everybody left. That was like a subconscious feeling that I would have. And if you understand manifestations, you're manifesting that. So then therefore, I always self-sabotage and make people leave. And number two, those people that are no longer there, if you learn how to really learn what lesson you were meant to learn, you're going to completely change your reality because now it's not a mistake. A lot of people sometimes say, oh, that was a mistake. Was it though? Or did you learn something? Now, if you didn't learn something, go back, analyze what you can learn from that situation. But you see, nothing is a mistake. Everything is already pre-written. And if you have not read any of Dolores Cannon's material, I highly encourage it. Maybe we'll do a series talking a little bit more about that because I think you guys would absolutely love it. But she's essentially a past life regression therapist, and I will leave you with that. So I personally believe that we all have this pre-written story. And of course, we have freedom of choice. So whatever decision you make from this moment forward is going to play an impact on how the rest of those pieces unfold. And a lot of times people want to focus on blaming circumstances versus taking accountability of how they can move forward. You see, there's a story that essentially talks about how there was an alcoholic and he had two kids. And one of his kids turned out to be a complete drunk. And they asked the kid, why are you an alcoholic? And he says, because my dad was a drunk. And the other kid never touched beer in his life. And they ask him, why didn't you become an alcoholic? And he says, because my dad was a drunk. You see, the choice is yours. What you choose to do moving forward is going to play out for the rest of your life. Do you want to keep partying right now so that you can end up later maybe upset about the fact that the people that weren't doing that are living a better life than you? Or do you want to take accountability and change and pivot out of that? You see, I'm 27 years old right now. I just turned 27 on December 12th. And these past 4 years have been of such growth. I do not recognize the person I used to be. And that is such a profound realization because I am thankful for every single opportunity that I am getting because of the fact that I'm investing in my growth. And I'm not saying this as in, look at me. No, I share it because coming from where I came from, and I've shared with you guys, and if you don't know, if you're new to the channel, I was raised with my grandparents in a storage room. Literally, I mean, we did not have money. We suffered through a lot of things, and I did not have my parents. And for the longest time, I was this sob story of poor me, poor little old me. Until I took responsibility for the things that I had gone through and learned from them and said, you know what? Because I didn't have this, I can succeed. That was the biggest realization for me. So whatever you have in your life, what if that's the reason why you can succeed? What if the reason that your parents weren't there, what if that's the reason why you can succeed? What if the fact that you don't have money is the reason why you can succeed? What if the reason that you're missing X, Y, and Z is the reason why you can succeed? The choice is yours. You have this innate power within you to grow into the highest version of yourself. So with that being said, I want to thank you so much for watching this episode on getting clarity. I will be having a free PDF for you guys. All you have to do is enter your email and we'll be able to email that over to you so that you can go ahead and check out 5 key questions that I just want to put as a little PDF for you to use and have that as your little journal. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Also, all of our handles are linked down below, our Instagram, our Facebook, TikTok. So if there's anything that you maybe want us to talk about in the next episode, please feel free to reach out. Like I said, I do these videos just with the intention of growing as a community, and the unity part is in caps. So please feel free to reach out. And with that being said, I am sending you many blessings, much love, and I will talk to you on the next one.